We're honored to present our guest today, Asif Shaikh. Having Asif's Resurgence exhibition in our Mary Giles Gallery since late April as part of our Mining Mending series of exhibits and programs has been a privilege, and thank you, Asif, for lending your incredible work. I also want to thank Marianne Wise from Cultural Cloth in Maiden Rock, Wisconsin, for introducing me to Asif during last year's International Folk Art Market in Santa Fe, and to Shelley and John Wells for bringing the work to us and helping with the careful installation, and Shelley in particular for sharing so much information about Asif and his studio with me. Now to introduce Asif. Born in Ahmedabad, a city renowned for its rich culture and textile heritage, Asif Shaikh took up embroidery when he was about 10 years old. At an age when embroidery was rarely pursued by young boys, Asif chose needle, thread, and fabric over other interests. He explored a spectrum of traditional Indian embroidery techniques from different regions of India by learning the stitches himself to build a sound technical foundation and fundamental understanding of stitch. Currently, his studio employs artisans who produce a range of embroidered yardage, which is transformed into garments and textiles, showcasing a sophisticated juxtaposition of contemporary style and traditional textile techniques in stitch, motif, composition, and color palette. These textiles recreate the grandeur and fineness of India's fabled royal textiles and attire, while reviving and preserving the tradition of Indian embroideries and supporting local artisans. Welcome, Asif, and we are thrilled that you're here. Screen sharing has been allowed so that you can begin your presentation, and we ask that everyone in the audience, please keep yourself muted to make sure that there is no background noise interrupting us.
Thank you, Tracy, for the introduction and inviting me to give talk today. My sincere thanks to Marianne for introducing me to you last year in Santa Fe. And I can't thank enough to Shelley and John. Without their support, this was not possible to bring the exhibition to the Minneapolis. They have invited this exhibition to US, and now it's traveling. And I'm so happy that we are spreading word of handcrafted textile to the world, and we can show to the world what we can create in 21st century. People feel that only the best quality products are there in the museums. Nothing exists. And this is what we can create today. That's what I'm trying to show. I'm not here to do a competition with anyone. I just make what I like. I'm here to enjoy my life, and this is how I enjoy. This is the quality life I would love to live, and that you can see in my work of embroidery. I started embroidery in very early age without understanding why I'm doing that, and I had no plan or no goal that I will continue embroidery as a career. When I joined School of Architecture for my interior design education, I realized at the end of the course that I have to continue my embroidery, and with the knowledge of interior, I can use my design in the right way. That you can see the geometry and the quality, the finish, everything in my textile. I always believe that it is very important to give credit to the artisan. In today's time, when designers have started using the crafts of the artisans' work, they never give credit to the artisan. So the motto of the Resurgence is to give credit to the artisans. So when we have organized first Resurgence, when I completed 20 years in industry, my first Resurgence was in NID, National Institute of Design, which is walking distance from my home and studio. So the director of NID have invited me to do my Resurgence in their very small gallery called Aquarium. And before that, I have done my art exhibition, but I have never done a textile exhibition with so much, um, write up, and it was like academic, and I'm not academician, so I will talk from heart. I will talk what I believe, what I feel. I don't use academic language to present my work. I just show to the world what I like, how I like, and what I do. And not to prove anyone that, what I'm doing is the best. No, I'm just showing or sharing with the world what I like. And this is what we can create today. So today I will talk about some of my embroidery which we practice. Resurgence has a different kinds of embroidery technique. It has all different kinds of embroidery frames, which I have redesigned the Karchov scroll frame in 2015, and all my art of embroideries are on that frame, which are in Minneapolis Textile Center. And here we practice on scroll frame. In our studio, there are 15 people working in my studio. 13 are artisan, my tailor, manager, and they are like family to me. And we are sitting in a very good environment where we have very good natural light. The studio is on 9th floor with good air circulation and natural light, and where we create all my embroideries. So today we start with my latest textile, which we have revived in 2022. I got inspired from Victorian era's beetle wings embroider on cotton, hand woven cotton fabric. And we have showcased this textile in my sixth walking hand in hand, which took place in November 2022. And veteran dancer Mallika Sarabhai, who lives in Ahmedabad, have performed with the textile, and that's how we have celebrated our embroidery. So I'm playing this small video where we showcase this. Now we talk about beetle wings. So the beetle wing comes from nowadays North Thailand, and we used to get in Northeast India, but in a very small quantity. So when I started using beetle wings for my embroidery in 2014, when I visited Thailand, and when I saw women were using beetle wings for their embroidery, I requested them from where I can buy this. I traveled Chakuchak market, but I could not find, and I requested, can you give me few? I'm ready to pay you whatever you want to take. And she gave me some. She didn't take money from me. And next year again, I went there, and I went with some of my embroidery using these wings. And then I got so many wings. So this is beetle wings. You can see the head of the beetle, then the neck, which I call it crown, and these two wings. So this is the crown and the head. It's all natural. We have not done any kind of color or lacquer. This comes in so many different shades of greens and blue and size. So these are the size like 1.5 inch long you get, and sometimes you get all these different kinds of shades in your packet. You can see the green to blue. So now you get, beetle wing sequence. So I have used 7,000 sequence on that shawl, which we have showcased last year. The fabric was hand spun, hand woven 300 count cotton fabric from West Bengal. And 7,000 beetle wing sequence I have used on that with gold plated silver metal thread. So that's how you get beetle wing sequence. The peacock, it's an Indian bird peacock, the feather of peacock. So in Varanasi, they have developed hand woven peacock feather. So it's a supplementary weft technique they use with the silk and cotton. They take out all the feathers and the one string. They join all the strings and make a long string and use as an extra weft. And this is the most beautiful fabric I have ever seen in my life. So first time we have used beetle wings on peacock feather. So it is all natural material. Frequently, this question comes to us: do you kill beetle and do you kill peacock? No, we don't. They shred their wings naturally and they shred their feather naturally, which are easily available. You can find in jungle. They collect. Yes, in Thailand they eat beetle, but in India we don't. So we don't kill insects or birds to get their material. It's naturally available. So non-violence. So this is a close-up of the feather, woven peacock feather. And that's how first time when I got beetle wings from Thailand as a gift. And I had no idea how to cut and how to stitch it. And I have used laser cutter. I have designed for beetle wings, and then I used laser cutter to make my shape and size. I did a tiny hole to pass my needle. So that's how we have stitched on brocade fabric. And that's how it looks. It's contour and concave, though both the way you can use. And after putting our beetle wings, we have used gold-plated silver thread, 4-ply, untwisted metal thread. We have done outline with orange color thread, which is traditionally we use for our Zardozi and metal embroidery. If it is gold embroidery, we use orange color thread. If it is silver embroidery, we use white thread. And this was the finish motif. And that's how it looks like. So the couching technique we have used to do our outline. And second, we have used real ruby also with beetle wings. This motif I got inspired from sirpej, which is brooch on headgear for men's in royal in the Mughal time. So this was there in I have seen in Victoria and Albert Museum, and I have redesigned the motif from that sirpej and created this embroidery with rubies, beetle wings, and gold-plated silver thread. This is another motif. This is my own design, and I have used in a different way. This is the first time we have stretched woven peacock feather fabric on our frame. And this is my redesigned frame, Kharcho. And I have no idea how I would transfer my design on feather. and how this will react, how we'll work on it. There was no clue, but yes, we have definitely tried. And this was the result we got when we transfer our design through stencil. And here, first we have used organic white chalk, but it didn't stay. So we had to use zinc oxide and kerosene, and this stays. And we started using the wings on the woven feather. And this was the final piece. And this is the first time in the world beetle wings on peacock feather. The same design. So once we got confident, it took few months, and we got confident. Now we can make a bigger piece. So I have made this tree of life as in my artwork, where we have used 2,000 beetle wings, and it took a few months to complete this piece. But while doing this piece, I have learned so much. So the first piece which you have seen is untwisted 4 into 2, so 8 ply of metal yarn, metal thread. Here we have twisted 4 into 2, so 8 ply of metal thread, which was too thick. So we have reduced the size and we have twisted finally 6 uh, ply of gold plated silver thread. And this is the result we got. So you can see the twisted thread in this close-up. And this was the final piece. And that's how we did our display, the frame. You know, this particular artwork got stolen from Puan Budi exhibition in Sarawak, Malaysia. And finally, we got back. They could not manage to take it out from the premises. They took out from the gallery, but I'm lucky that this piece came back to me, and now it's with me in my studio. So this is the close-up of my textile, which is a 300 count hand-spun cotton thread and hand-woven in West Bengal, 7,000 beetle wing sequence, which I got it from Thailand, and gold-plated silver thread. The technique is couching. And this is after Victorian era, this embroidery happened in my studio. So this, like even my artisan, we have to give them enough time for training. It's not that easy to handle this delicate fabric, which you have to put it on the frame and which will stay on frame for more than a month, and 3 to 4 people will work on it. So, you know, the small things matter to do our work. Here on different angle, you will get different colors and the sheen in beetle wings. So this was the final piece. And that's how we have displayed in our last show. And that was the most amazing moment to see this picture. So that's how, you know, people talk about sustainability and the livelihood and all that. We don't talk about that, we just practice. Never we talk about livelihood because it's a very poor word. We are rich with our craft, and we don't have to use that word, and we take care of all our artisans, so we just practice. So this is how we use, and even this case which is left over, we never throw it. I'll make some new artwork with that. And this is one of my outfit which I have made for my second walking hand in hand. So I get inspiration from all different kinds of, you know, era and the product. So this is a jewelry box on marble. So this is, I think, 16th or 17th century jewelry box. I got inspired from this box, and one of my jewelry client told me that I have semi-precious stones and a Basra pearl, which are 150-year-old. So can you make me something? So I said, sure, let me see. So that was the first piece I have done, and I got my inspiration from this jewelry box. So I have to redesign the motif for my embroidery. So I have to convert the motif for the embroidery. So this is how I got the stones, and I have done my settings, and done like 50% changes I had to do my final piece. And this was the final piece. The challenge for this piece was Basra pearl. You cannot pass zero number needle, then also these are embroidered. So that I have to dream like how I will do it, and I'm self-taught artisan, so I have to solve all my problem by myself. So this is, I think, I want to keep this secret, and I want you to understand how I have done this embroidery. Though you cannot pass zero number needle, there is a thread inside, white thread, and it is stitched on the fabric. But you cannot pass the needle. So this is the close-up of that. Now in our studio, Asif studio in Ahmedabad, whatever embroidery we create, everything is in-house. So we work with a different technique and different fibers. I like to use all our authentic technique. I don't want to compromise on that. I don't use technology or computer embroidery. So these are all my hand drawings. Only you get the nice curves and flowy motifs when it is done with the hand. Machine cannot give you that. So these are all my hand drawing. And this particular motif is done with the Vasli technique. So Vasli is a uh, padding of this metal inside is a real Vasli, which I got it from Pakistan. So Vasli is a layer of natural paper stick together. In Mughal area, they were using Vasli for their miniature painting. So the same paper they have used for the padding, and that is why it calls uh, Vasli. So on top of paper, you use either Z or S glue to stitch your thread on paper. Danka. This is Rajasthani embroidery. So only one artisan left in the world who lives in Udaipur, Fakhruddin. He makes danka, and this is gold-plated silver foil hammered with wooden hammer on metal plate and create this contour or concave plates. You can cut no holes in it, and while doing your embroidery, you can make hole. And again, we have used 8 ply of metal thread for the kauchi. Gotapati. It's a woven lace. You cut in a different shape and size. You stitch on it on the fabric, and then you do your outline with. Here we have used twisted 6-ply cord. In today's time, when you make it cheap embroidery in terms of quality and the price, they use stick on. So they stick the lace on fabric and then does ugly embroidery. It becomes very stiff. Bandobas, it's a layer of sequins arranged in a particular way, so you get three-dimensional effect. The colors which we have used inside is with the chain stitch. There are so many different chain stitch names. So here we have played with the chain stitch and Zardozi technique. The Zardozi. Zar is a real gold and silver material, the coil. So Zardozi word came from Uzbekistan to India. When Mughal came to India, this technique came with them. and the word also came with them. Zar is a precious metal. Dozi is a craftsmanship. So using your technique or the craftsmanship and the precious metal is called Zardozi. So this is hand woven silk. India has a beautiful silk and so many different kinds of technique. One life is not enough to learn everything. So this is Zardozi gun on Jamdani fabric. Couching. We call it untwisted marori, but Western word is couching. So the same fabric, Sardozi again with a very thin coil we have created. So this is a half thickness of Sardozi material which are available in the market. As I said, I like to use all natural fibers and different kinds of natural dyes. So these are hand woven, non-violence, airy silk from Northeast. And I have used my Marodi embroidery, which is couching, using metal yarn and the silk yarn. And as I said, after my education in interior design, I learned geometry, and you can see in my work, it, we work on grain. So 90-degree, our fabric is properly stretched on the fabric. We don't save time to make it cheap. When you make it cheap in price, definitely you make it cheap in quality. But that's how we count each and every of fabric, and then we transfer our design, and then artisan work on it. Baroque design, I have used chain stitch, different kinds of stitches in this one design, and the inspiration is from Baroque. The inspiration from Taj Mahal. So this is my finest chain stitch using gold and silver thread and silk thread. As I said, I like to use natural dyes, and I love indigo. Indigo started from Ahmedabad. So the city is known for indigo. And I have dyed all different kinds of natural silk and cotton in different parts of India and got so many different shades of indigo. From childhood, I love birds and butterfly, and I have done this collection in 2019, Confluence of Birds. And there I have used all different kinds of birds motif for my garments, and using different fiber dyed in different area in India, and the white fabric is hand woven silk and linen. So the warp is finest silk and weft is linen, and embroidery is chain stitch using indigo dyed silk and cotton. So these are the close up of my birds. I have name for every birds, and this is how I like to put my geometry for my birds or my any of my designs. So it has so much flow, and this can, I can say it's my art. So this sari can be an art work. So I use marigold. So Adi Pure Nature, Rupa Trivedi did this marigold dyed for me. The fabric is khadi hand woven from West Bengal, and the thread is also dyed in marigold. And my motif is also marigold. And in center, I have used metal sequence. And this is 100% cotton fabric. Pashmina on Pashmina with Pashmina. So this is first time again in the world. The hand woven finest Pashmina from Kashmir loom. Jenny did this textile for me, and they gave me even yarn. So this is a Pashmina we have created cord with pashmina fiber and stitch with the pashmina. So that was the challenge. It took 2 years to manage this yarn because it is so delicate yarn that it's impossible to stitch. But with the practice, you can reach to this level. So these are my recent work of Marodi embroidery, pashmina on pashmina with pashmina, paisley. Chain stitch with pashmina. So we have used chain stitch technique on pashmina. Non-violent eri silk and hand-woven fabric from Northeast. I use non-violent eri silk yarn, which I got in different shades. These are not dyed or bleached, just washed. So, but you get all different shades of ivory and of whites. So I have used chain stitch, French knots, different thickness of French knots, and loose knots. So this is in my white on white exhibition, which is my future exhibition. We did parodi, the couching with eri on eri, non-violent, and stitch with non-violent eri thread. So we are purists, so we like to use all pure material, no mixture. The finest chain stitch, I call it finest chain stitch in the world. So this, we have used silk from Thailand, which they use for weaving, not for embroidery. So it is half thickness of embroidery yarn. The fabric is silk and linen. The warp is silk and weft is linen. And embroidery is chain stitch, my bird of paradise. So this is my very popular artwork and my favorite. When butterfly comes out of cocoon naturally, they cut the cocoon. So you get very small staples of silk. And when they comes out of butterfly, comes out of cocoon, the cocoon looks like this on top of butterfly. So I have invented very special knot which comes on the top of the the end of the Ari stitch, the chain stitch, and where I have invented a new knot where I can leave this thread. So this looks like, a cocoon and a butterfly comes out of cocoon. The velvet we have created with the chain stitch. My tree of life. This artwork, this stone jali is in Ahmedabad called Siddhi Sayar Jali. I got inspiration from that architecture, and this mosque is 600-year-old. This fabric is from Banaras, hand-woven silk net, and I have used Thai silk for my embroidery. Embroidery technique is chain stitch. So we have used white chalk to transfer our design on white fabric and did this embroidery. It's called white on white embroidery. And this is the final artwork on silk and linen fabric. So we practiced for years and then we reached to this level of embroidery. This is my recent work, which I will bring it to Santa Fe Cut Market, the cut work. So for doing this embroidery, you do your chain stitch first. So we did 2 outline with the chain stitch, and then we make a slit. Now we secure the leftover fabric with zigzag chain stitch on top of the basic 2 line of chain stitch. So after finishing our cut work, the threads will not visible. So we secure the fabric with the chain stitch. So these are the small things we take care of, that how it will look after removing from the fabric. So the importance is the quality. So small things matter to make your beautiful embroidery and the presentation. So when I started my first resurgence, the government of India have invited me to do my resurgence in Delhi IGNCA in 2013. And I had no idea that will change my life. And there I had to make a catalog. And this is what I have created, my catalog cover using all different kinds of embroidery motifs and technique, and created this collage of embroidery. These are all my hand drawings and my embroideries. And people have purchased this catalog just to copy the design without understanding the technique. I have no problem when artisans purchase and copy the design because they know the technique. They will use those design to do the embroidery because they are not an artist, they cannot draw. So it's okay with me. But the brand called Shanti, whose turnover is $50 million. So in Indian rupees, it is 400 crores of rupees. Last month, I went to Banaras, and Banaras is the biggest center for textile. This is the oldest civilization and most beautiful textile they create in the world. So this I have seen as I enter in their office, and they are the president of Banaras handloom industry. They have copied my embroidery and did such ugly job. And this was like, I have stopped reacting that what should I tell? I took this picture and I told him like how ugly way of using my design on your sari, which is synthetic sari, digitally print, and why you have done this. And he said, we have taken all this from the catalog. I said that catalog is my catalog. These are my drawing. And this is the way in today's time people make your craft, your passion, your life into this ugly way. So please don't buy the cheap stuff. Just buy one, but the best. The buy one will give so much employment to the artisan, and we will save our craft for next generation. When they can buy million of rupees or dollars a machine to do a digital printing, why can't they hire a designer who can give them the new design vocabulary? Why they have to copy the craft with the technology? This is really frustrating, and this is really heartbreaking to see your work in such an ugly way. But people have told me that take it as a compliment and just move forward. So let me tell you that nobody can stop me. Nobody can stop my progress. Nobody can stop my thinking. Nobody can stop my embroidery because I continue my journey of embroidery. So when I did my textile for 2022, I could not find natural dyed orange color thread for my embroidery. So now yesterday I started my second piece of beetle wings embroidered on hand woven cotton, 200 count khadi. So here I'm using natural dyed indigo and henna, which got green color and orange, and my gold plated silver thread. And this is happening 100% natural fiber, 100% natural colors. So this piece, I will bring it to Phokat market So if you are coming to Santa Fe, first week of July, come and see this artwork. This textile will take few thousand hours to complete, but this will be there. And this is what my journey is all about. Now I'm showing you the slideshow of my work. This is what we create in my studio every day, using natural fiber, using regular silk thread, which are available in the market, chemical dyed, azo free, and but I only use hand woven silk or cotton, no synthetic, no machine woven. So this is how my studio works, and my passion of embroidery is alive, because I have no dream of reaching to the world. When I started, I have no goal, no dream. What I am today, I have not decided, and I have not, whatever I have achieved is just because of my work. It's not that I have worked on it. Like, I have never hired a PR agency in my life. I have never done advertisement, just mouth publicity. And I have client, have completed 30 years in 2022. And my clients who are there are the kids who born in front of me, and now I'm doing their wedding outfits. So people who understand the craftsmanship, they come to me. So that's what even I got in America. And they just come and, say hello to me, that what I have created this year new. And I always share uh, with them that who weave the fabric. The weaving is not done by me or my studio. So whenever I travel, I buy my fabric from organization or from the weaver directly, and I use their fabric for my embroidery. But I always give credit to those maker, because you can see Asif written with each and every motive. So same way, it is my responsibility to give credit to the maker. The future is a collaboration. Nothing is yours. Nothing is belongs to you. Everything you have to share, and you have to be honest. If you are honest, if you practice honestly, you don't have any competitor. So you have to compete with yourself only. So that is the most safest market. In last 30 years, I don't have single piece as a dead stock. Whatever I make, I keep for some time with me. I enjoy, and then some lucky will get that piece. So it's very important to get inspired, use your inspiration in a right way. Do not imitate somebody else's work. So this is what is a very common practice is. They write about inspiration, but they do imitation, and cheap imitation with the technology. And that's what you will see all over the world is loaded with. So this is small world of my embroidery. Thank you again, everyone, to spare your time and you know listen to me and my story of embroidery. I want to conclude with one quote, that is my journey in embroidery. So I learned from master artisans. As I said that I'm a self-taught artisan. So when I started professionally, I started spending my time with the artisan in their workshop, and I had so many questions, so many questions. And first thing I said, I only wants to do the best quality embroidery. And they say, will you pay us? I said, of course I will pay you, but do not compromise on the quality. I'll give you enough time to produce that piece, and whatever your charge will be, I will definitely pay you. So they taught me, they gave me all their secrets, how to see the embroidery, how to practice. So they taught me three words: tod, mod, jod. Tod is break, mod is turn, and jod is join. So when you understand where to turn, where to break, where to turn, and where to join, this is the result in front of you. That's what we practice in my studio, Tod, Mod, Jod. And we never talk about, let's finish this piece, let's create this piece, whatever time it takes. I never count how much time it will take. It means how much it will cost me. I just make the best of the best piece and try to make the best. And if you try, then definitely result comes. So I would love to thank all those artisans from whom I have learned, and all my artisans who are working with me, and just make a bond with the artisan. They are not skilled labor. They are your family. All the designers you earn from the artisan, give them credit. Don't hide their identity. If somebody copy your stuff, you fight with them. And when you copy our work, you know, and then we have to keep quiet. So I think if somebody is copying your original work, don't bother so much. Don't waste your time. But it is foolishness when you keep quiet. So raise your voice, expose them, and then continue your journey. But definitely expose them. So I want to conclude. I continue to experiment with the RE stitch, which is a chain stitch. I stitch with threads of different natural fibers and on cloth of different natural fibers and create new motifs. As beautiful lines of continuous chain stitch emerge on cloth, I find they echo a parallel in my life that is continuous chains of joyous moment related to embroidery. The experience is most fulfilling. So this is what I live for, and this is my small world of embroidery. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Tracy. Over to Tracy.
Asif, I think I can speak for many of us in the audience. We're absolutely speechless. I am so inspired. Every time I've talked to you, I'm more inspired. Your work is profound. So thank you so much for sharing it with us and touching so many of us. We do have a couple questions from the audience. If you wouldn't mind, we have a few minutes left, and
Sure.
I'd like to share those with you just to hear some thoughts. And a lot of them I think are about your working process and how you handle or the artisans in your studio. One person asked, do the embroidery artists in your studio ever create designs of their own, or do they help you in any way in the design process? Can you talk a little bit more about how that design process works and then how the work goes out to the artisans in the studio?
So Asif Studio is a very renowned in terms of quality and design innovation. So these artisans are with me since 20-25 years. But so many times I have tried asking them to create something new, or this is a free canvas, do something. And whole day they will sit and not doing anything. And at the end, they will say, for you, we can't do it. So the best quality comes because your line drawing is proper. So whatever motif I create, it's a perfect. And then we make a stencil, which is a very tiny holes perforation on the Garware sheet, which is a polyester sheet. And then we transfer, my main person, Zakir, who is with me since 28 years, he learned everything in studio, and the way he transfer my design on fabric, nobody else can do it. So he knows what I want, and then I give the layout of my motif, how I want on the fabric. So I make my layout and give it to them. And then sometime I have to sit with them, and then in front of me, we do the printing. And then I sit with all my artisan, and with the color, I ask them what color I have to use. So all these samples which you have seen today, created under my guidance. So I choose my colors and I ask them to do the color palette and which stitch will come where. So I use their skill of embroidery, but they are not a skilled embroiderer or artist, so they cannot think beyond that. And yes, they know that they cannot compromise on the quality. We will only see the quality of the embroidery, not the timing, how much time they have taken to do that particular piece. Sometimes we have to open the embroidery, and whatever experiment we do, it's all my expense. They don't have to worry about, but they just have to give my quality. So that's how we manage in my studio.
Thank you for sharing that. I think maybe this is a related question. One person asked about the color choices when you're using the silver and the gold threads. And I believe you said that the silver threads you couch with a white and the gold threads are couched with an orange. Is there a symbolism to those colors, or since the orange seems to stand out much more on the gold, is there anything behind that you want to share with us?
Yeah, so when they started gold and silver embroidery, there were no chemical available. So they must have used white thread on silver, must have looked nice. And those days they were using hand spun cotton for couching. And so it must have looked very bad on gold. So they have dyed the cotton thread in chevron, and they got orange color, not the golden color. And so till now, traditionally, we use orange color thread for gold embroidery and white. Though we get now same color polyester thread easily available, but it doesn't look good. So this orange gives, some sparkle on the gold. So I think it's cherry on cake.
Another question that came in, and if anyone else has questions, please feel free to contribute to the chat. We have a few more minutes. Can you talk a little bit, because the exhibition that we have here, one of the components that people have really loved is the pieces where there was collaboration with other artisans, the Ajrak block printed pieces with the beautiful gold chain stitch, the fabulous Bandhani pieces by Abdul Jabbar Khatri, the beautiful dress, even the clothing designs. Your clothing has an exquisite flow and drape and a very sensitive, you pay very much attention to the type of cloth and the weight of the materials and the stitching and how that makes the garments work. Can you talk a little bit about how you collaborate and who you choose to collaborate with? And then maybe in conjunction with that, we also talked the other day about collecting and how sometimes maybe what you're doing is an intentional collaboration. And then sometimes when you're traveling, you're collecting the most exquisite things that you can find to inform your work. So if you could talk a little bit about that to wrap up, I think that would be a really great thing to hear.
Yeah, so Sure. So collaboration is very important. You know your technique and you are master in your work, but you can work with hundreds of master all over the world. So that's what I believe, and that's what I practice. So the ajrak you were talking about is done by Abdul Jabbar Khatri. His name is same Abdul Jabbar Khatri from the Manka. He's a ninth generation of master block printer, and he creates most beautiful ajrak in the world. And he got inspired with a miniature, and he created miniature blocks for miniature block printing using natural color. I call him chemical engineer because he had created so many natural colors, and he just experiment with printing, and he knows what I like, and we both work together. It is three and a half hour drive from my city to desert. So I start early in the morning, go there, have breakfast with them, and then we start printing in their workshop. And I go with my pattern, what I want. And as you said, that my garments are very, everybody is appreciating because it is very simple and not complicated. So this funky fashion, what I call, is last for one evening, and this fashion of our heritage will last for ages. So this Ajrak, I collaborate with Abdul Jabbar Khatri, and he create most beautiful Ajrak textile for me. And then we check the quality. I give them my placement. If we want to do some new style, so we both sit and work together and create most amazing Ajrak. And then we get lots of wastage, but I have to pay for it when I give my most expensive fabric to them, and sometimes it gets spoiled. It doesn't mean that I have to ask money for the textile. No, I don't. And then we put embroidery in my studio, stitch in the house. So same way I work with Abdul Jabbar Khatri from Bhuj, and he created this most amazing bandhani for one of my fashion show. And I have draped that textile on my rod in my studio. And next morning I saw this cowl, and I said, "Oh, this is a dress itself." And I have just put stitch inside, and it become a dress. And this is there in the Resurgence exhibition and even in the catalog. Then I work with artisans in Lucknow, and the piece which is there in Resurgence is by Mamta Verma. And first time when I came to Phokat Market, uh, some production she has done, and other artisan have done other production. She's educated, smart woman. So I asked her, "You want to go for the market?" And she said, "Can I?" I said, "Of course, I'll help you." And next year we have applied for Mamta ji, and she got selected. Since then, she's coming to Phokat Market, and one person can give employment to hundreds of artisans. And when you buy one handmade textile, you are actually giving employment to so many artisans in that sector. When you are buying one woven textile, 22 family get work, and 22 families survive on one textile, which is very important. So it is very important to do a collaboration, give recognition to each and every person, and just continue your journey. There is no insecurity. You will get your dues. Give dues to everyone. I want to answer one question which I just read. Somebody is asking me how I pay to my artisans. So my artisans are not on piece wages, they are on salary. We take care of their insurance, we take care of their health, and yes, we sometimes we I used to pay for their education as well, for children's education, but we take care of them. So even at the COVID, when everything was shut, they used to get money at sitting at home. So they don't have to worry about, they are family to me. I can't think that they have no food in their house. So it was my responsibility to send them money because they cannot come to my home or office to get their money. So we have sent money to their home, and this is how we practice. It's a very ethical practice what we are doing. Each and every artisans are paid. I never take free of cost. I never ask discount, or I never bargain with the supplier. So if somebody bargains with me, it's not allowed. So you cannot deserve to buy my textile. Keep your money with you. So we are very, very ethical practice people. So that is what my answer to that question. Any more question or?
I think with that said, you were so eloquently articulate. And I want to thank you for sharing. We've gone a little bit over our time this morning, but I want to thank everyone in the audience for joining us. We want to thank you, Asif. I wish you were here and we could just surround you with love and hugs, but I hope you feel it anyway. I mean, the comments coming through the chat, I hope you feel all that. Everyone is, folks are looking forward to seeing you in Santa Fe. Again, for everyone who wants to know about how to access Asif's work, please join him at the International Folk Art Market in Santa Fe. And I don't want to give the dates because I'll probably get them wrong, but it's that first weekend of July, I believe. Is that correct? Yeah. So
yes.
It's the International Folk Art Market in Santa Fe. It will be held near Site Santa Fe this year, not on Museum Hill as it usually is. Can't wait to see you and see your new work. And thank you so much for sharing such an outstanding exhibition with us, and your heartfelt practice, your advocacy for crafts, artisans, the support of your community. I mean, I can't say enough about how inspired I am by the work that you do. So thank you. You're an icon, Asif. Thank you so much.
You.
And thanks to everyone again for joining us at Textile Center. And if you're here in the Twin Cities, please do come and see Asif's show before it closes on Wednesday morning. So with that, I will say to everyone, have a great evening or a great day ahead, because I know we're in many, many different time zones. And thanks everyone again. Much appreciation. Bye-bye.